Welcome, everybody, to the Joe Lee podcast. I have returned. I am your host, Joe, and today we are doing Joe's wrestling reviews once again. Today we are actually doing Best of the Super Juniors for the first time ever. Obviously, like it sounds, it's a tournament with kind of like cruiserweights, I guess in American terms, American wrestling terms. And as you can see right behind me, all the contestants are in the back, so I'll move. Yeah, green screen. Very nice. So yeah, there's a bunch of guys here that I've never seen before, or guys that are like relatively new to like the style of wrestling that I typically watch. So it's gonna be like somewhat different. A lot of these guys, from what I could tell, are like high flyers, but yeah. So if you don't know what Best of Super Juniors is, it's kind of like the G1 Climax in the sense where they're like there's an A block and there's a B block, and then everyone in the A block has to wrestle each other. And, each victory counts as 2 points. A tie counts as 1, which ties usually are like time limit or double DQ. And both would earn only 1 point. And then a loss will net you 0 points. And so whoever has the most points after wrestling every other person in their respective block advances to the final. So winner of A block faces winner of B block, and whoever wins both of those gets a shot at the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. And so, yeah. Obviously, the one thing you're probably asking yourself, if you're a fan of New Japan Pro Wrestling, is why is Taiji Ishimori in the tournament? Well, the champion typically tends to be in the tournament, even with the G1 Climax. The champion tends to always be in the tournament. He's not usually one to win it, but I believe they like to keep it at least the champion close to being the A block finalist. So I'm sure somewhere along the line, Taiji Ishimori will lose like a key victory, or get like a tie, and that'll cause him to kind of rank somewhat low compared to like someone who like pretty much wins like all their matches or close to all their matches. So yeah, we have Ryosuke Taguchi, Clark Connors, Hiromu, as everyone knows, Kanemaru, Ace Austin, Alex Zane, Francesco Akira, Taiji Ishimori, and Sho in A block. So day one is mostly going to be me talking about the A block, because those are really all the matches that were present in day one. I guess technically this is day one block A, whereas tomorrow will be B block day one. So I could avoid it, but I'd rather get kind of like the content out at this point. And I think it'll be a lot easier to digest, because I really want to get into like the individual matches and kind of get to know more of the competitors, because there's a lot of people here I don't know. Like, I know Taiji Ishimori a little bit because of his Bullet Club stuff, but there's a lot of other competitors here that I don't really know. Like Yo and Sho I know are like they were Roppongi 3K at some point. And that's kind of like when the time I stopped watching New Japan for a little bit. But now that I have a little more time, I'm going to be focusing on trying to cover some of the New Japan stuff. It's still mostly going to be AEW, but it should be relatively interesting to see the tournament unfold. And then this is kind of just like a warm-up to see like how we can cover the G1 Climax in July. So trying to get everything sorted out during the Super Juniors before we head into G1 Climax. And, all that stuff is kind of close to Forbidden Door, so should be interesting. Okay. I actually have notes for pretty much every competitor before their matches. So we're going to start with the first match of the day, which was Clark Connor versus Ace Austin. First time watching Clark Connors for me. From what I can tell, he has a safari cowboy look to him, mixed with like a tough guy aesthetic. We have Ace Austin, which is the Impact X Division champion. I do think commentary mentioned that this was the first time in nearly a decade that they had any like Impact Pro Wrestling representation. Obviously, they're doing like the crossover stuff where they have some of the USA Bullet Club over there in Impact Wrestling. So I assuming this is the trade that they got Ace Austin, and I'm sure they'll get something for the G1 Climax as well. He does kind of like magic tricks when he comes in the ring. I've never watched Ace Austin despite being Impact. I'm just not an Impact person myself. So, and then kind of flexes his X Division Championship to Clark Connors. And I believe Clark Connors is part of the New Japan USA brand because some of the commentary mentioned that Shibata was, Shibata, I don't want to mispronounce it, but Shibata was his coach in the LA dojo of New Japan. So for those who didn't know, New Japan has a dojo here in LA. Okay, match starts. Quick lock exchange between competitors. The pace kind of speeds up with some strikes and dodging and a lot of aerial maneuvers. And a lot of reversals too. Connors takes Austin to the corner, gets some punches to the head, throws him on the other side, hits a suplex on Austin, and that is our first 2 count. Austin reverses an uppercut of 10 by Connors with a flurry of aerial maneuvers to gain control of the pace of the match. Austin strikes Connors in the corner. Then Austin gets Connors in the corner in a submission and uses the ace card to cut, kind of like right here in the middle in his hand. Personally, not fan of this move. I just think it looks a little childish using a paper cutter. Maybe if it was like more of like a comedy match, I'd be like okay with it. But personally, not really into that one. Austin attempts to chop Connors, but Connors managed to tackle Austin out of the way. Then he manages to throw him in the corner, and after that goes for the extension elbow for another 2 count or near fall. Connors goes for a miss spear and goes to the outside. Austin goes on the apron, and I believe he was going for a kick. It kind of went super fast, and I didn't rewind for some reason. But he does like this sort of like flip when Connors tries to like counter his like move, and quite impressive, honestly. He did like a kind of like a handstand almost. Yeah, so he dodges with some parkour. He heads for the ropes and flips over the ropes onto Connors. He brings Connors in, delivers another kick for a 2 count. Connor reverses the fold, which is Ace Austin's finisher move, with a spear for a 2 count. Both exchange strikes, and then Connors hits a power slam and sets up the trophy kill, only for it to be reversed into the fold for the 3 count. Pretty impressive, honestly. I like Clark Connors' style a lot. It's kind of a mixed bag between trying to be like a big guy, which he's not. He's like big, like in terms of like muscle and stuff like that. But he's not like big in like the sense like he's a tall, like big guy. So yeah, like he kind of has a lot of like very impactful moves, whereas like Ace Austin is very much like a high flyer, very much a Super Junior sort of a moveset. So yeah, Ace Austin earns 2 points. Obviously, you don't want your X Division champion losing on night 1. So the match was somewhat predictable because you don't want to tarnish any like New Japan Impact relationships. So it kind of made sense that Ace Austin won here, but I still was impressed by Clark Connors. So Ace Austin in the lead right now with everyone else who won today with 2 points. Yo versus Clark Connors is on Wednesday, and Ace Austin versus Yoshinobu Kanemaru on Wednesday as well. Okay. I want to say this is my favorite match, but speaking of Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Yoshinobu versus Alex Zane. First time seeing Alex Zane. I've seen a little bit of Yoshinobu in the past, but not enough to like be extremely familiar with him. Yoshinobu obviously representing Suzuki Gun. Alex Zane comes out in like all red, like he's got like a fur coat on, and like his tights are all red, his boots are all red, and I was like, oh, this is kind of a weird look. Like he has like his hair like the man bun, and he's got a fade like on the side and the back. Yeah, his gimmick is he calls himself the Sauce, which was pretty hilarious because he looked like a packet of fire sauce from Taco Bell, which is also part of his gimmick. His gimmick is kind of like Taco Bell stuff for some reason, and it's mostly because a lot of his like finisher moves are Taco Bell menu items, which was hilarious. So he's kind of got a little bit of comedy stuff going on here, but that's not indicative of like what his like match was like, because he was very much serious from start to the finish of the match. His moves may be comedically named, but he's definitely someone to take seriously in the tournament. Okay, match starts with the arm rigger exchange from both Zane and Kanemaru. Zane is able to roll out of the locks and gives Kanemaru a drop kick. Kanemaru is able to get a sleeper hold after a failed suicida by Zane. Kanemaru starts targeting the knee of Zane with the intent of getting the high flyer, which is Zane, to slow down. Zane is taken to the ring, back into the ring. No, I'm sorry. Zane is taken to the ring post, and Kanemaru starts attacking Zane's knee, and this is kind of like the story of the whole match, is that he's gonna target the knee the whole time. Then Zane gets a lock with the leg. But Kanemaru is able to like reverse himself out and slam the knee into the mat. After some kicks, both exchange chops, but Kanemaru kicks the knee of Zane into a half crab on the damaged knee. Zane gets Kanemaru in the corner with some aerial strikes. He does a flip off the ropes onto Kanemaru and brings him back into the ring. Zane hits some strikes and sweeps the leg for a 2 count. Zane goes for a 450 but lands on his feet, which hurts Zane and allows Kanemaru to go for the figure 4 leg lock. Zane is able to dodge a moonsault and hits a massive lariat on Kanemaru, but Zane is still down from the repeated knee targets. Kanemaru throws the ref in front of Zane, tries to roll him up, but Zane is able to kick out. Elbow strike in the corner on Kanemaru into a Hurricane Rana for a 2 count. Then Zane hits a face buster, which he's calling the Baja Blast, a drink at Taco Bell, and hits his finisher move, the Cinnamon Twist. And Zane earns 2 points. Zane will be facing Sho on Wednesday. So I really like Zane here. He is probably my favorite wrestler out of the A block currently. This is the problem with like a lot of the wrestlers here. Like if you tried presenting this like to someone who's casual, a lot of these guys kind of do the same stuff. Like the only guys that really stick out is Hiromu Takahashi and Alex Zane. And it's because they're like very unique with what they do in terms of like their gimmick and stuff like that. So Alex Zane, 2 points. This is probably the guy that I'm rooting for on A block. I don't know if he's part of like the USA New Japan division or if he is a mainstay over here on the Japanese side of stuff. But it's someone who I probably will be rooting for the rest of the tournament on a personal note. Okay, speaking of Sho versus Francesco Akira. It's funny that his name is Akira because great anime that also comes from Japan. And so, yeah. Sho represents House of Torture, which is an offshoot of Bullet Club led by Evil, which is quite interesting because House of Torture definitely don't feel Bullet Club to me, and I didn't even no idea that show had broken up from Yo. So I was surprised by the fact that those two aren't together anymore as Roppongi 3K. If someone wants to fill me in the comments of why that is, that'd be great. Francesco Akira is actually won a tournament in All Japan Pro Wrestling in their juniors tournament. So he has some similar tournament experience coming into this. Okay, start a match. Sho does not allow Akira to finish his entrance. So, Akira's coming in. He's getting in the corner. He's looking for the cheers. And then all of a sudden, Sho attacks Akira in the back. Oh, by the way, Akira came with TJP. So it was interesting to see TJP again. Haven't seen him since his WWE contract had expired. I think he was fired actually, or let go. Anywho, budget cuts, right? Okay. Attacks him. Okay, so they start running the ropes, and then Sho puts him in a head scissors. No, I'm sorry, Francesco hits a head scissors, and then Francesco hits a outside move, brings Sho back in, and hits an assisted cutter. So he springboards off the ropes. He's on the outside, springboards out, hits a cutter for a 2 count. While Akira tries to hit Sho with a Akira tries a tope suicida again. Sho gets a young lion to kind of stand in front of him, and Francesco kind of stops his momentum. Sho takes Akira into the crowd and then slams him into a wall. Sho tries to use the best of the Super Juniors trophy, but ends up using. And this kind of distracts the ref, so the ref has to get the trophy, take it back, put it in place, and Sho uses this distraction to use a chair, and he hits Francesco Akira with the chair. Akira drags himself back into the ring. He beats the 20 count, which is something to note here, that the counts are not 10, they are 20. Sho gets a double wrist lock, and after that they both exchange some chops and strikes. Akira managed to get Sho into a face plant sort of maneuver. I'm not sure what it was called, but it was interesting. Akira dropkicks Sho to the outside and hits an Asai moonsault into a corkscrew net breaker. Akira and... I'm sorry, my notes are a little scuffed. Oh, Akira and Sho strike each other after a 2 count, and Sho hits a knee strike into the corner. But Akira hits Sho with a thrust kick into the corner. Akira sets his finisher up, which is called the fireball, but Sho ends up hitting a spear. Sho kicks the left arm, and then puts an armbar attempt. Akira uses his leg to get the rope break. Sho sets up, I guess it's a finisher move called the shock arrow, but Akira escapes. Kicks Sho's head and tries to get a German suplex, but ends up pushing Akira into the ref. Akira hits the fireplex into a 2 count and hits the last round to set up the fireball for the 3 count. So Francesco Akira gets 2 points. Again, this is the first time of me seeing Francesco Akira, and apparently his mentor is Will Ospreay, and TJP. So it's looking like a bright future for this man. He was very impressive. Sho also looked very impressive in this showing too. I'm looking forward to seeing both of them going further in. I don't know if there is a big rivalry between Sho and Yo, because again, they were tag team partners in the past. So that's kind of the match that I'm looking forward to the most, because They usually tag teams tend to have better chemistry when they're opponents against each other. So looking forward to see what Akira can do more. But yeah, he's definitely like a really intense like high flyer to look out for in the tournament as well. Okay, Ryosuke Taguchi versus Hiromu Takahashi. And I know a little bit about Taguchi because he has like some Prince Devitt backstory. I know those two were tag team before Prince Devitt betrayed Taguchi. So that's pretty much the only like Taguchi experience I have. Right now he is one half of the junior tag champs. Hiromu Takahashi, obviously part of LIJ. I know he's a multi-time junior heavyweight champion. He actually comes out from his entrance with like a book of like memories of like each opponent he has. So he has like an image of Taguchi, and it's just Taguchi's rear end. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what the other pages look like. Okay, match starts. Taguchi refused to shake his hand, and as soon as the bell rang, Hiromu drop kicks Taguchi. Taguchi stays down, and they seem to be like exchanging words. There was no direct translation by the U.S. Commentary team. And it looks like Taguchi just like wants to be pinned, so he's like, "Come on, pin me!" Like he's like down on the ring. But then he tries to like reverse it into a leg lock on Hiromu. They both run around the ring, and then Taguchi hides under the ring, pulls Hiromu's legs, but both get in before the 20 count. They try to lock, but Hiromu dodges pretty much every attempt that Taguchi tries to get near his ankle. They continue running on the outside, and Hiromu and Taguchi beat the count again. Taguchi gets chopped in the corner, gets shot. I'm sorry, scuff notes again. He gets a drop kick of 10, and it's and it's dodged. And after a quick exchange of reversals and pins, Taguchi manages to get the ankle lock. Once again, they exchange pin attempts, but then they start like rolling on the ring like they're like a ball almost. After that, he continues with the ankle lock, and after a rope break, Taguchi hits an ensiguri. They continue with the reversals. Taguchi pumps himself up and falls for the same knee to the sack twice. Taguchi pulls his trunks down, which is really weird, really awkward to watch. And this throws Hiromu off, threw me off. I think they pretty much expected that. The Japanese crowd expected that from Taguchi. It was definitely like weird for me. And gives him a window to like hit a splash, but then he is rolled up, and then Taguchi actually reverses, but Hiromu is able to hit a lariat for a 2 count. Hiromu rolls Taguchi again for a two tries in a row. Hiromu roll once, fails once, and then the second time he gets the pin, and there we go. Hiromu has 2 points, and then the next match for Taguchi is Taiji Ishimori, which is the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. Very much a comedy match. I'm not very familiar with comedy matches. I know they have a time and a place. In tournaments, they feel awkward to me, but this tournament is so big that to me, it's not that big of a deal. This was actually kind of a break for me in terms of like the matches here, because all the other matches felt kind of like important, very fast paced. While this kind of like slowed it down and made it a little more lighthearted. I never expected Taguchi to win because he has the junior heavyweight tag championship. So to me, it was kind of a given that Hiromu was gonna be like one of those guys in the top three as far as who's gonna win the A block. So fun match. Again, good break right before the main event. Okay. Main event time. Taiji Ishimori versus Yo. And again, I haven't seen too much from Taiji Ishimori, but I definitely have not seen anything as far as singles competition from Yo. Yo is obviously with Chaos, because that's where he was before. Ishimori is with Bullet Club as the junior heavyweight champion. So I know Bullet Club is kind of having the story where they're trying to like regain their relevance, which, you know, it's working, to be fair. JY's doing an incredible job as the Bullet Club leader. And yeah, part of it is locking up the junior heavyweight championship, and hopefully JY gets the heavyweight championship too after Capital Punishment. Is that what they're calling their pay-per-view? It seems like that's where it's going. Okada and Jay White. Anywho, that's for another time. Again, this match starts with arm locks. I don't know what it is with arm locks and A block, but I'm hoping to see more diversity of how a match starts. As far as the junior heavyweights, most of the matches have started with arm locks, and I'd just rather see something else. Change it up a bit. We have like 2 weeks of this tournament. Ishimori pulls on Yo's arm, and this is gonna be again like another like targeted area of this match. You know, they go back and forth to the ropes, and Yo gains control of the match. Ishimori with failed reversals. They ends up throwing both competitors out of the ring, and Ishimori is the first one to get up. He gets the pulled arm and starts hitting it up against the ring post again. Ishimori ends up reaching for a hammer, and the ref goes and tries to stop him. Ishimori throws the hammer into the ring, and the ref goes to get the hammer and trying to like get it out of the ring. And this allows Ishimori to hit Yo's arm with the chair. So Ishimori already kind of has the advantage. Yo beats the count as Ishimori lays into Yo with some kicks. Yo gets into sent into the rope, but the turnbuckle is exposed, so it like hits him. I didn't see him removing the turnbuckle spot, but maybe that's because I was trying to like take notes, so I might have missed it. It might have been super fast. Ishimori continues to target the arm and puts Yo in like a self choke, so he's kind of like pulling on the arm, on the injured arm, while he's like choking the other guy. The two exchange strikes, but Ishimori maintains control. Ishimori hits double knees to the corner, but Yo is able to like get out of it and hit a drop kick. Ooh. Yo hits the ropes and hits a forearm, then goes for a springboard 180. And then they're outside of the ring. Yo rolls Ishimori in and hits a missile drop kick into a 2 count. Ishimori uses his shoulder to hit the reverse to hit the injured arm. So he kind of has his arm and goes. He pulls it down. Pushes Yo into the corner. Ishimori hits a shoulder break. Yo reverses with La Mística. I don't know. It was an interesting move to watch. Gets a dragon corkscrew on Ishimori's leg, and then this kind of like injures Ishimori's leg, and Yo starts to like target the leg. So hopefully in like future matches we see that this is kind of like Ishimori's thing where like his leg is injured. So I'm sure they're gonna carry it into further matches. Yo continues to target the leg, but Ishimori gets free with some kicks to the shoulder. Yo hits a drop kick into a Falcon Arrow for a 2 count and gets Yo's leg into a leg lock. Ishimori gets free and gets a Saifu Taki. I don't know what that move. I think I'm mispronouncing it, but this is what commentary had said, or what I thought I heard from commentary. He hits it on Yo. Both men exchange strikes, and Yo gains control of the match after some reversals. Yo hits a headbutt into a suplex, attempts his finisher move, direct drive. Ishimori tries his finisher, but Yo reverses into a thrust kick and reattempts his finisher, but Ishimori is able to reverse the move into the bone lock, and Ishimori types out Yo to gain the 2 points. Very good match. I'm impressed by both guys. Commentary said that like Yo is feeling somewhat unmotivated, which is something that Ishimori hints at as well. I don't know what the story is with Yo at this moment, but if he's kind of going through like a down momentum right now, it didn't come off that way. He did very good in this match. Post-match, Ishimori gets on the mic and asks what Yo is thinking, and whatever it is that he is thinking in his head, he felt some of it in the match today. He says that there is incredible talent in both the A and the B block. He talks up the town that they're in, and he says that he will win Best of the Super Juniors as the champion. He says that he is the strength and superiority of the juniors division. I was very impressed with day one. I'm actually really looking forward to the tournament. I think it's going to be something that's really cool. I'm surprised more people aren't talking about Best of Super Juniors. I'm really looking forward to seeing my boy over here, Blackpool Combat Club, Wheeler Yuta. So Tuesday will be his first match. I know he had some tag match, but I'm not really going to cover any of the tag matches because in my point of view, unless there's something like story-wise going on, there's no real point in me talking about it. So yeah, great matches for day one. I'm really looking forward to day one of Block B. A lot of the guys in A Block impressed me, so I'm hoping that a lot of these like other names that I don't know impress me as well. So, again, I know a little bit about TJP, Wheeler Yuta, a little bit about El Fantasmo. I don't know if is Bushi in this one. I can't remember. Yeah, I know a little bit about Bushi, so those are going to be interesting to watch. So yeah, Tuesday we will be reviewing Day 1 Block B, Best of the Super Juniors 29. Wednesday we will be doing the All Elite Wrestling Dynamite review. Actually, that'll probably be up Thursday morning. And then the rest of the week, we will continue the coverage of Best of the Super Juniors. And I think the next pay-per-view for AEW is Double or Nothing. If there's any important matches aside from Jay White and Kazuchika Okada, we will be reviewing Dominion as well. It's not officially on like my list of things to do, as there are other things to do right now for me personally. But if I have time, I will be reviewing Dominion, especially if the finals of the Best of Super Juniors is at Dominion. Then I'm probably going to have to review it anyways. All right. Follow us on Twitter at the Jolie Podcast. And follow me at Zephyr the Scribe on Twitter. And yeah, like, share, subscribe if you enjoyed the video and the coverage of the tournament. And I will see you Tuesday afternoon for Best of the Super Juniors, Block B, Day 1. For Joseph Yanez, this has been the Jolie Podcast, Joe's Wrestling Reviews. I'm out.